The script is your shield, right? So if you're in battle, you have your shield, and that's protecting you from your enemy, right? If we're in battle, that's your shield. That's going to tell you a framework and a step-by-step process of how to walk them down the aisle. Now, how you get them to say yes at the end is based on how you say it. Not what you say, but how you say it. Most people don't practice. They practice on their first customer. Well, what if that's your only customer you talk to all day? What if you have 5 appointments on the board, 4 no-show, 1 shows up, and that was your practice round? You just wasted that one opportunity that you had. Professionals spend 97% of their time in practice and 3% of their time in the game. Now, obviously, as professional insurance agents or sales reps, we can't spend 97% of the time practicing. But the theory is still there. You need to spend more time practicing than you are currently. What's up, guys? I want to come on here and talk to you guys about a little bit of sales training, okay? All throughout the industry, you always see, tactical stuff, which is obviously very, very important, of course. You need all that stuff, right? But let's take it a little bit different of an angle, okay? When I train new agents every single week, my team and we host a training every single day, Monday through Friday. I host 2 of those personally. And the ones that I train on is actual sales training. Okay. How to get a customer, walk them down the aisle and say yes at the end. And one thing that I see all the time from new agents, now, at least in our agency, we provide scripts. We tell them exactly what to say, right? My job is to train them how to say it. So as long as you have a script, you know what to say. And what I say with the script is your shield, right? So if you're in battle, you have your shield, and that's protecting you from your enemy, right? If we're in battle. Now, your sword is how you say things, right? So it's the finesse, right? If you're in battle, you have to know how to finesse that sword so that you can kill your opponent and not be killed, right? Now, obviously, we're not killing our prospect, but it kind of gives you guys a real world example of understanding how sales works, because the shield is going to tell you exactly what to say. And that's what your script is. So your script tells you how to do the intro, how to do the discovery, how to pitch the product, right? How to go over the product details, like what does it entail, all that good stuff. And then you have the close at the end, right? That's your shield. That's going to tell you a framework and a step-by-step process of how to walk them down the aisle. Now, how you get them to say yes at the end is based on how you say it, not what you say, but how you say it. Because you could be saying the same thing as me, but I get a different result than you because of how you're saying things. And what I always see new agents do, or not all agents, but what I see a lot of new sales reps do is they get really nervous, right? And we were all there. I was there at one point. I was nervous. In my early sales career, you're stuttering, you're pausing for a long time, you're saying ums a lot. You just aren't confident, right? And so you come off weird. Okay. I always tell agents all the time, or new sales reps, don't be weird. Guys, you have to have a conversation. If you need to take the script and you need to make it a conversation in order to actually get them to trust you, to like you, to say yes at the end. Okay. So let's take this for example. Let's say that I say a statement of, I said he did not hit his wife. Okay, that's the sentence. I said he did not hit his wife. I said he didn't 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 hit his wife. You see, when I emphasize a different word of that sentence, it changes the sentence, right? So that's what I mean by knowing what to say. I mean, knowing how to say something versus knowing just what to say. Okay, because obviously your script tells you what to say, but if you don't know how to say it, then you are going to get a different result. Right now, you're probably asking, okay, great, Zach, I have a script. How do I know how to say it? Depends on your agency, obviously, right? But if you guys don't have proper training in place or demonstration, what I mean by demonstration is like in our agency, we're all inside of Discord and we all present live. So when I present live, you can hear me present to my customer. You can hear my customer and what they're saying, and you can understand how I'm saying things. Oh, Zach pauses here. Oh, Zach speeds up at this spot. Oh, Zach talks slower here. Right now, if you don't have those tools at your disposal, then what you need to do is you need to reach out to a top closer and say, hey, can I shadow you? Because if you mimic what somebody else is doing that's having a lot of success, it's only a matter of time before you have that same success, because eventually your brain, you're smart enough, you're God's highest form of creation, you will start to mimic them. And then you'll start to mimic them in a way, but in your own way, right? Because obviously I have a different personality than you guys. I'm a type A. I'm more like straightforward, high energy. If you're more, kind of chill, let's say, then you're going to be able to say the same things how I'm saying it, but more in your personality. Okay. Now, another thing, at least virtual sales. I'm not going to go into in-person sales. I do virtual sales. So in-person sales, you guys are actually luckier. 80% of our language is through the body, right? Matching, mirroring of the body. Well, if you're on the phone, that eliminates 80% of your language, right? So now you have 20% left. So you have to make 100% that 20%. Okay. And so what do I mean by that? Matching their tonality, matching their voice inflection, matching their speed, right? If I'm talking to somebody and they're talking really, really fast and I need to speed up and I need to know exactly what I'm going to say at their speed, because I have to match them. Now, if you get somebody that answers the phone and they're talking way slower and, maybe they're from the South and they, their slang is, and they just talk slower, like you need to slow down. Okay. If you're trying to talk really, really fast and they're talking like this, they're not going to be in sync with you, right? If rapport is here and you're up here, you're not going to be in sync. If they're up here and you're down here, you're not going to be in sync. You have to match where they're at. Okay. Rule number one in sales is always agree. Okay. I know a lot of people out there say, well, buyers are liars. That's not rule number one. Okay. Rule number one is always agree. Why do you always agree with your customer? Because if you're not in agreement, then you cannot be in rapport. Imagine if you're arguing with somebody. You're arguing with somebody, you can't be in rapport with them, right? Because you're in conflict. So if they're up here and they're saying, Zach, you're the worst salesman I've ever met in my entire life. You're right, sir. I'm not the greatest salesman in the entire world, but I'm very passionate about helping Americans save on their life insurance, health insurance, ACA, whatever it is. Doesn't matter, right? But now I'm in rapport with them because I agreed. Then I can start to diffuse the situation. Okay. Because you can't argue with somebody who's agreeing with you. It's impossible. Okay. So you got to match their tonality. You need to match their voice inflection. What do I mean by that? That means if they're talking at a higher pitch, you need to be at a higher pitch. If they're talking at a lower pitch, you need to be at a lower pitch, right? Okay. And then you want to know your script so well that you know what points to emphasize. Okay. Whenever I'm going over features, I'm going to emphasize each feature, right? When I'm going over kind of nonsense, maybe I'll speed up a little bit just to get through that piece. But something I do see a lot of new agents do before they know the script is that they want to have a conversation. So they read the script really, really, really fast. That way they can go and they can start to have a conversation. Well, guys, it comes off very, very weird. Okay. It comes off very, very weird. You want to be able to know the script so well that you have a conversation throughout talking the script. Okay. And how you do that is through practice, through repetition, right? Repetition is the mother of mastery. Okay. So how you do that is every morning you need to go through the script as if you are also giving this presentation to yourself as the customer. I do this every single day. And when I go to learn a new script, I do this every single day. I'm not going to say I do it now. I know the script like the back of my hand, the one that we use. Also helps that I help create it. But that's how you master the script. Okay. Tom Brady has a great quote that I love. He says, professionals spend 97% of their time in practice and 3% of their time in the game. Now, obviously, as professional insurance agents or sales reps, we can't spend 97% of the time practicing. But the theory is still there. You need to spend more time practicing than you are currently. Because most people don't practice. They practice on their first customer. Well, what if that's your only customer you talk to all day? What if you have 5 appointments on the board, 4 no-show, 1 shows up, and that was your practice round? You just wasted that one opportunity that you had. Whereas I go into a sit already knowing exactly what to do because I've already practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. But then I also get additional practice because I train agents, right? So teaching is the highest form of learning. And so I'm able to get even more practice at a deeper level because I've been training just like I'm doing with you guys right now. Okay. So you have to practice, and then you need to practice as if it's live. So that means practice your voice inflection, practice speeding up, practice slowing down, practice emphasizing certain words, practice pausing, right? Pausing is huge, guys, because it draws them in. When I'm pausing on this video, you guys get drawn into the video. Okay. When I lower my voice, you guys kind of lean in, right? When I start talking a little bit faster, start speeding things up, then you start to kind of pull back, right? That is the master or the mastery of phone sales. Phone sales is amazing, guys. I mean, think about it. If you're in person, they don't show up. Man, you just drove all the way there, or like you walk to that house, like whatever it is, like you can't just go and call another person. Whereas me, with my platform SETR, nobody shows up. I got a whole list of people that are interested. I know exactly who may answer at this time of day. I got people that no showed appointments in the past. I have a lot of other prospects I can go and close. And in fact, I have posture in my sits because I have so many more opportunities, right? If you only have one opportunity a day, you're probably selling with sales with commission breath, because you're sitting here thinking like, man, I have to capitalize on this. I have to capitalize on this. When in reality, if you have more appointments, it's like, hey, all good, man. Totally fine that you didn't show up. Or what I like to do is when a customer needs to think about it, which I don't get very often, because if you know how to sell, then you don't get objections because you handle the objection before it even possibly becomes an objection. But of course, sometimes you get those, I need to think about it. I can hit them with, hey, totally understand you need to think about it. Totally understand you need to talk to the wife. I don't blame you whatsoever. Look, I'm a busy guy, though. I have a lot of current clients that I need to service. Plus, I have a lot of individuals that are looking to get insurance as well. So let's do this. I'll have my assistant reach out to you, who is AI, by the way. I'll have my assistant reach out to you. And if you want to schedule another call, by all means, schedule it with her. Otherwise, let me know if you do want to move forward, because I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to. I'm not going to chase them because I don't need to chase them, guys, because I have such a big pipeline already. Right? Now, if you're new, obviously go and you fortunes in the follow-up, right? And if you don't have SETR or you don't have a platform that follows up for you, fortunes in the follow-up, you got to do that, right? But for me, I'm a one-call close person. I like to get them on the phone. I like to run a flawless presentation and close them right there. And if they don't want to move forward right then, then I'm going to have my assistant AI reach out to them and follow up with them for me. Otherwise, I'm moving on to the next person that is ready to move forward. Okay. So that's just me. That's my take on it. That's my psychology on it. But guys, at the end of the day, don't be weird. Have a conversation with individuals like you would your grandma, like you would a friend at a party, like you would your neighbor. Like, have a conversation. You're not going to sit there and stutter and say all the time and be all weird if you're having a conversation with somebody you know. And that's how you have to get to that level where it doesn't matter who you're talking to. I'm talking to a screen right now, and I'm not being weird, right? I'm talking to this screen as if I'm talking to you right now, having a conversation with you. explaining how to sell at a higher level, not being weird. Okay. So you don't hear that a lot on the internet. You don't hear that a lot in sales trainings. And honestly, it's the number one thing, guys. Have a conversation. If you have a conversation, people will know, like, and trust you, and they'll buy from you. Okay. So have a blessed week. I hope this helped. If you guys want more sales training, more things on AI, leadership, how to build a sales organization, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the video. And maybe you didn't like the video. Let me know that too. I'd like to know how to get better at sales as well. I have an 82.6% close ratio this month so far. But if I can increase that, I'm all ears. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a blessed week. Love ya. Big Z out.